Three, two, one. Welcome to the Oh Brother podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith.
How's it going, Dan?
It's going pretty good,
Just
man.
popped up there out of nowhere.
We're old pros with the StreamYard here. So we're back. I don't know why it feels like it's been forever since we
It has been, it
put it up.
seems.
I don't know why that is, but it does seem like that. So what is it? March 30th, 2022. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right into this. We don't want to be the absolute last people to comment on the Oscars.
Well, I think that's already
Are we close?
accomplished.
Are we
Yeah.
close? Okay. So we've got to talk about the Oscars, right?
Yep.
And now we had already planned to do this episode with an Oscar recap because
Right.
we're going to see how our picks stacked up against what the actual winners, who the winners were. But then
the
everything
show
just
changed all of that.
Now, here's the wild thing. Okay, so everybody watching, listening by now has seen and heard the slap, from Will Smith to Chris Rock. So
And what I couldn't believe, if they've seen the meme to get in,
yeah,
Dan took one on the chin
right, exactly.
with a big
Yeah.
smile on your face.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll have to see how that works out. I think they'll see the thumbnail. You ever know, like sometimes there's an episode I just want to, I'm excited to do just to put out so people can see the thumbnail,
the meme,
just because it's so good. But so here's the wild thing with the Oscars is I end up not being able to watch it.
Right.
So
You have the worst cable.
I have the worst
ever.
cable, right? And even with the premium package, it's still the worst cable ever. But
So we were going back and forth.
So we were going back. Yeah. And I said, I can't get it. And, so I start following the Twitter live feed.
Mm-hmm.
But you're the one who texted me and you just said, like, oh my God.
Right.
I think it was like an OMG or something.
And
I'm
you
like, what?
instantly, after I told you, you were like, it's fake. It's a
Yeah, I'm
setup.
like, it's a bit.
I
Now,
said, trust me.
Right. I had not seen it. And I'm like, come on. It's so absurd, right?
Right.
Which is pretty much what everybody thought.
Yeah.
With this.
I knew right away. The
Yeah.
reaction from Chris Rock, the sound, I knew right away this isn't a thing.
Right.
Even though if you watched Will Smith and he was grinning
the
whole time,
right,
it was tough to tell.
Yeah, it was so bizarre. And then I still couldn't get access to the footage,
and then
until
finally it showed up.
Finally it started to show up, right.
And what was more important was the Japanese footage, because it went frozen, which was odd. After the smack,
yeah,
the TV just froze here.
Yeah.
But in the Netherlands and Japan,
it kept going.
They kept rolling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I knew it was real right away, but then when I saw the footage, it was even worse.
Right.
Because of him screaming from his seat like an idiot.
There's so much to unpack with this because it was disturbing on so many levels, and again, much of this has already been commented on and talked about, but the fact that Will Smith could just walk. Now, let me back up real quick because I do want to say, anybody that's followed us and listened to this show knows I called it from day one. Never been a fan of Will Smith.
Right.
So to me, it was kind of like, well, of course he did something like this, but this gets into a whole conversation about mental health and because you saw when Chris Rock comes out and he's making this G.I. Jane joke about Will's wife.
He's laughing.
Jada Pinkett Smith. Right. And he's laughing. You're right. And then she rolls her eyes. And at some point he must've gotten wind of her.
What it was
reaction.
is he heard the booing.
Is that what it was?
Booing.
Because he wasn't looking at her when she reacted and rolled her eyes. He wasn't even looking at her.
Right. People in the crowd started to go, oh, like they always do. If you've ever seen Ricky Gervais on the Golden Globes, it's 10 times worse.
And then the speculation is that, here we are now. We're going to talk about the Oscars, but we talked about toxic masculinity and the power of the dog. So here
it is.
Like you said, the booing, and then he just must have felt called in some way through that, toxic masculinity to walk up very calmly. He walks up on stage and then just open hand slaps Chris Rock
And
across
you
the
call it
face.
an open hand slap. That was a punch, man. He did it with force. And I
Well, but
know
it's still a
this
slap.
because our dad, the
He pulled a Will Smith on you many
he
times.
did. He did. There was one time I'm downstairs, I'm watching TV, right?
Yeah, I remember this. I
It's
mean,
like
I know the story.
yes, the Brady Bunch. I remember the show. And all of a sudden I hear, Michael. Our dad's this big Marine. He was really big.
Yeah.
In today's world, he's kind of average, right? But
Yeah,
back
yeah.
then, he was this
Right,
big guy, and
right.
and he was. We were scared of him. I love my
Yeah.
dad. Anyway, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, that's not a good call, Lo. So I walk up the stairs. As
Mhm.
soon as I hit the top of the stairs, I got the Will Smith. And
Right,
dude, I went airborne.
right.
I mean, I literally went airborne, and I landed next to our other brother who's in tears.
And
I
wasn't he the actual culprit of
He
whatever
was
the
the
incident
culprit,
was? Yeah, yeah,
and I'm not crying or anything. I took it,
yeah.
and I'm looking at my brother and I'm whispering to him, "What is going on?" And next thing I know, "You get over here and do the dishes. You get over." I'm like, "I got it."
Mhm.
Not a word. Mom's like sniffling a little bit. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Right,
Didn't find out till later that, and this goes to the coda part of our life.
right. Well, we're getting all
Yeah,
discombobulated.
I didn't mean to go there, but
But, and I don't wanna make light of this in any way because
having been whacked like that,
yeah.
that wasn't a slap.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was assault
Right.
regardless, right? It was
Battery.
yeah, and, this again, so many bizarre things about it, like, nobody did anything about it. Nobody
Just
did anything to come to Chris Rock's rescue in any way, shape, or form. They did come to Will Smith's
they gave him
rescue
a
in the sense
standing
well, but not
ovation.
but before that, during the break when
Yeah,
Denzel and Bradley Cooper and
correct.
whomever else had come over to
Again,
him,
yeah, you see all the
consoled
people.
him,
Yes.
and where was that for Chris Rock? Where was that for Chris
There
Rock?
was just an update,
Where's
literally,
security? Hello, security?
dude, on my way in here,
Oh,
thing comes up on the phone, an update from the Academy
right,
saying they went to Will Smith, asked him to leave,
and he
and he
wouldn't leave.
said no.
Oh, I did oh, wow. Okay, so this is more
What?
coming out as the
Yeah. I'm
investigation goes
glad
on.
we waited a couple of days because the way it's now turned, the
Right.
worm is turning. At first, it was like Will Smith. Oh, he's protecting his wife. He was up there
No, well,
babbling about.
the only person thus far that I've heard come out, and at least in the celebrity realm, in defense of him is Tiffany Haddish. She's the only one I've seen quoted saying that what he did was she actually said what he did was a beautiful thing.
Wow.
Coming to the defense, which is that's a whole right. There's an issue you got to unpack. Now, if there's one thing I've learned personally over the last several months, well, and again, I'm not saying this to make light or whatever, but in
No,
full
I know.
transparency, in full transparency, you know, this may not be true of all women. I certainly wouldn't want to stereotype, but the question is, do they need a man or anyone else to come to their defense or their rescue? And that's the assumption, right? And then he hides behind this whole statement of protection and I'm protecting I mean, it's so absurd.
His
He's called to
rambling.
protect, and then he's talking about the actresses and King
Correct.
Richard, and he's protecting
Correct.
them, and
He was
it
at
got
that
more
point.
bizarre.
It was bizarre. He was
Now, again, we're
babbling.
assuming everybody knows he won Best Actor. He's up there giving, like, now, of course, the longest Best Actor speech in history,
Right.
right?
And he was babbling, rambling. I want to know who his people are. I want to protect.
Publicist and
I want to protect my people.
Oh, did he say my
Who's his
people?
people?
Right.
Was that like a black versus white thing? Because I think the guy he smacked was black. I
Right.
might be wrong.
Which is another fascinating, I said that to you, the sort of race element here.
Right.
If this had been a different, uh,
Correct.
you
If
know,
one of them was white and one of them was black, either switch it either way.
either way,
You
either
want
way.
this is even a bigger
Right.
issue.
Right. Right.
But the fact that he was rambling and babbling and crying, he had he only had a couple of
And never
first
apologized to Chris Rock at this
never
point
until the next day
when
after
he
his
was
publicist,
exactly, got a hold
told
of
him to
him.
do it. But and he realizes there's gonna be consequences.
Now, I do wanna say that there's, a really good conversation between David Spade and, Dana Carvey on their podcast called Fly on the Wall. If you're not listening to that, you should.
Prior to this.
No, 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 no.
Oh, they did
No.
another one.
Yeah, the episode there well,
Okay.
see, their new episodes come out on Wednesday,
Okay.
and we're recording this on a Wednesday, and they start off because it was a pre-recorded interview with Ben Stiller,
Correct. But
but they
they
get on
talk in the beginning.
they get on the mic for 10 minutes and talked about the incident. Now, the interesting thing was they had Chris Rock on the podcast not that long ago,
Yeah.
and the 3 of them talked about all sharing an experience with bullying.
Bullying.
And, so this was very, triggering to them, of course, to see this. And he's a friend of theirs as well.
Mhm.
So, but there's another issue that comes into the mix. This guy just came up on stage, seemingly unprovoked, right?
Unimpeded.
And unimpeded, and just assaults this guy and sits back, calmly walks back to his seat. This is why I was like, this can't be.
Well,
Even when
it's
I saw
funny.
it, I was thinking, I thought it was just such a well staged slap.
Mm,
I'm like, there's no way this can't be. And I tried to look at it from every angle, and of course, we saw it from every single angle possible.
I know. They have
It's
it
ad
like shot for
nauseum.
shot now.
Right,
And at
right.
one point, it almost looks like Chris Rock when he was like, "Whoa!" It almost looked like he was starting to make a fist. But
Mhm.
that's probably me putting that in there.
And, Chris Rock, I mean, I just was amazed at the way he handled it. Again, this
Yeah,
has been commented on, but what if he decides to handle that slightly differently
right. That would
and
have been a
retaliates, or
mess.
that gets into a whole, like, there's
Oh,
this big, brawl.
it could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been worse. It
Now,
could have been
Wanda
worse.
Sykes was just on Ellen today,
Mm. What'd she have to
and
say about it?
she was stunned. Amy
Yeah,
Schumer, same reaction. Both of them are opposite Tiffany Haddish.
right.
And the 3 of them were the
Well,
hosts.
no, 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 Regina Hall was the 3rd host.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no,
I
Tiffany
that was
Haddish was, well,
okay.
she was there, but
Okay.
this was a quote that a quote that they got from her
Okay. That was my
afterwards.
I
Yeah,
honestly, I don't know Regina Hill very well, and
Regina
I
Hall.
didn't
You
Regina
definitely
Hall.
don't know her
See?
that
I
well.
don't know her at
Yeah, you
all.
don't know her at all, actually,
And
because you think
I
she's
was
Tiffany Haddish.
I watched it and I was like, "I'm not sure who that 3rd host is." I
Right,
just
right.
didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
But both Amy Schumer and Wanda Sykes are saying they're still traumatized. Wanda said that at the after party, Chris Rock went right up to her and apologized because she said, "It's our show. We're the hosts.
Mhm.
It's our house now. We're bringing you in here. We want you to have a good time." And then to have that happen, it
Well,
was
see,
stunning.
it wasn't his fault,
No, but
you
he
know?
said, I just it should have been about you
And
guys.
you mentioned the after party, like, here's another thing. Guy gets assaulted, nothing's done, and then what does he do? He goes to the after party. And
Yeah.
there's video of him dancing and yucking it up with
You're
everybody,
talking
and
about the
Will
one who
Smith.
did yeah,
Talking about
because you
Will
said a
Smith.
guy gets assaulted and he goes to an after party.
Oh, yeah, no,
You meant
no.
they both
Right,
did, but yeah.
right, exactly. So
And
it's
you know
absurd,
what?
but yeah.
Just want to say that it was such a bad Oscars, even without this, but
Mhm.
this put it into the stratosphere of worst ever. All the editing they did with the awards that they gave out beforehand,
Right,
apparently,
right,
and
right.
they would say, "The winner is Johnny Jones," and he'd be standing on stage starting his speech. It
Yeah.
was such terrible editing.
Well, and that was another point we've been making for how long now? It's like, okay, if this isn't the final signal to do away with this, at least in this format.
Right, and dude, we have it on our blog.
Mhm.
Go back a year, and our
Right,
blog nails it
right,
about
right.
what it should be. It shouldn't be an award show. Take all of those trophies. God knows how much one of those is worth. Do you have any idea?
No idea.
I
No.
mean, into the very high thousands.
Right.
Melt them all down and let's, do something good with that.
Well, this is a conversation that's gonna go on now for that's a sad thing. Now we gotta hear about this for, God knows how long, and,
And
and all of the that it casts this shadow on the night, on the event, for so many people that have again, that this means something to.
Mhm.
All those that won awards and what it
How
took
about
for them to get
Questlove?
there, and Questlove, poor Questlove from The
I mean,
Roots.
I don't know what he said. I don't
I
know
had
what his
no
mother was
idea,
saying.
no clue.
His moment was just
Yeah, it just
gone.
became all about him
Yeah.
immediately.
Yep.
So I mean, we could unpack this for hours, but it just, we felt like
Yeah,
obviously you got to comment on it, and
and we'll
we're going to
talk
comment
about
on it again.
we're gonna come back to it at
We're going
the
to come
end, but
back to it.
the
Yeah.
one last thing I wanted to say is I went online right after the show
Hmm.
ended,
Yeah.
and Rexer happened to be just
Oh
doing a
yeah.
test.
Right.
Him and Kevin were on, and
Right.
I jumped in the chat, and they kinda chuckled, said, "Oh, there he is," they asked me, what I thought, and, simple, shameful.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Shameful.
Yeah, it was hard to watch, and you had mentioned, and I saw this. Jim Carrey had a pretty nice commentary about it, and
And
many
Bill
others, Bill
Maher, yeah.
Maher and others. But yeah, we'll come back around to. I did want to mention too, because this story just came out today. Bruce Willis,
Yes.
and
I
so
had no idea.
yeah, so Bruce Willis. It comes out just today that he's been diagnosed with aphasia,
Mhm.
which is a cognitive condition, and I guess
He's been
affects your
cranking out
he
movies,
has,
so
and,
I was stunned.
yeah, so it's sad. I guess, he's had to basically prematurely step back and really sort of announce his retirement, which is pretty sad, but, so anyways, just thought I'd
And
mention
what
that.
is that, to explain
Well,
what
it's a
that is?
cognitive condition, and it can, it affects, I guess, the ability to understand, and it can impact
Right,
your speech, and
right.
it's a brain disorder, really.
Yeah,
So,
and it's
um
hard to communicate.
right, right. So, anyways, wishing the best for Bruce Willis and his family. So that's kind of a bummer, but some good news, some good movie news, and I know you want to mention this too. Got to mention this real quick. So, a friend of the show, Johnny Durango, right?
Yeah,
Super exciting. We've been waiting for this. He just posts on Instagram today. It's Johnny underscore Durango, Derango. For those of you not following him already, announces finally
yay.
it's public knowledge that he is working on a feature film with, of course, the Nelms brothers, Ian and Esham Nelms.
Part of
And
the Nelms universe.
right, and it's called I think Red Hand. What is it?
No, Red Right Hand.
Red Right Hand. Yeah,
Yes.
it's an action thriller. They're saying,
Yeah,
and starring Orlando Bloom. And then you ready for this?
decent looking guy.
Andy McDowell.
Oh, our
Good night,
favorite.
folks.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
unbelievable.
Can
So
you see them in the Nelms,
I
their
can't. I'm so
team
excited. I'm
with
so
this
excited to
talent? Look
see.
what they,
Yeah,
they did with Mel Gibson
I
and
mean, it's gonna be.
Octavia Spencer.
I
And
don't even.
if you don't know the Nelms brothers, you have to watch. small town crime
Mhm.
leading into this, and you have to watch Fat Man
And you have to watch and listen to our interview
with
with the
them
Nelms brothers
and with
and with
Johnny
Johnny Durango and
and
many
with
others in that universe.
Michelle.
Michelle Lang, yeah, yeah. So, super excited for them.
Yes.
We got to get them back on the show at some point when they're free. Orlando and Andy. I mean, we'll probably squeeze them in, I would imagine. But
If we have time,
yeah, we'll talk to the
maybe at
Nelms
the end of the
first. So
show.
yeah, all right. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna talk about Turning Red and then
Yeah,
go into the Oscar
Turning
recap.
Red, and then we'll go into our picks because people don't really
Okay.
care.
So this episode is also we're going to do just a brief review. We again, this was another one of those last minute, but I was so surprised at how relevant this movie was to all of the Oscar Will Smith Chris
I'm
Rock
curious to hear your
mishap.
take on
Yeah.
that.
But so Turning Red, the latest Pixar film came out March 11th, streaming on Disney Plus, of course, not premiere access, which I know you must have been pretty
Well,
excited
that's
about.
gone now, right?
Is it
Because they're
gone
in,
now?
yeah, because they're in the
Well, right,
theaters
true,
now.
it's in the theaters. Although this had a very limited theater release. It
Did
it
it?
pretty much came yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, it came out the same day.
Oh, okay, alright.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're not doing that
hasn't done much
crap
money.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so go give us a, quick synopsis on
Yeah,
Turning Red.
it's from, and I can't say her name. Do you have the
I think it's
director's name?
Domee Shi. I think
Yeah,
it's how you
Domee
say it.
Shi.
Yeah.
And she did a
She's
small
a Chinese Canadian
director,
filmmaker. Yeah,
and she did a short film for Disney called Bao,
right.
and it was a big hit. It's on the short films DVD. So that this is her feature film debut.
Mhm.
It's about a young girl who's Chinese Canadian, and her name's Maylin. She's
Maitland, yeah.
13.
She goes by
And
May. Yeah.
she goes
Yep.
by May, and
Right.
everyone her mother calls her May May.
Right.
And she's just turned 13, so she's coming of age, but at the same time, whenever she gets worked up, she goes into a giant red panda, and
Right.
she gets worked up a lot. She's
Yeah.
an A student, a mama's
Right.
girl, you would say.
Mhm.
And that's basically kind of
And
the gist of it.
she's going through puberty.
Right.
And so, a lot of things start to happen at that particular stage
Yeah.
in your life.
I mean, the way Pixar handled this was really brilliant, I
Well,
thought.
in the title, right,
Yeah.
becomes very apparent. And it's interesting because I think the director and some of the others involved were sort of wondering, were they gonna let this was Disney gonna let this in?
Yeah.
And they did, and kudos to them for allowing it because it really, it makes for a great story and something that's very, relatable,
Right.
certainly to
And
families and moms with young girls and,
right. And
you know,
13-year-old girls.
13-year-olds especially, yeah.
Um,
But I mean, it's an allegory to menstruation. I mean, is
right.
really
And
it's
even
plain and simple.
when it first starts happening and she's freaking out, she doesn't know what's going on. She
Right.
runs into the bathroom, and the mother grabs like sanitary
I got
napkins and is like,
pads, I got
I
yeah.
can come in, I can help. No, 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 because
So
she's,
funny.
a big panda.
Right.
It was like a very double meaning kind of thing. That was
Yeah.
really clever.
Now Sandra Oh,
She played
who
the
who
mom.
who plays the mom, it was, Ming Lee, was really the only person I was familiar with
Yeah,
in
me
the
too.
voice cast. Now Rosalie Chiang plays May,
Yeah, and
May Lin.
she's young. I don't know how old she is, but
She is
she's,
young, yeah. I
a
think she's
teenager.
close to the
Yes.
same age, I believe, yeah.
Yes.
Now, what's interesting too, as I wanna before I forget, the, score, there's 3 original songs, I think, that were written for this, and
Mhm.
did you see in the credits who this was?
Oh, I know one of them, but I
Billie
forgot.
Eilish
Yes, Billie
and her brother
Eilish.
Phineas,
Yes.
which, was wild, and then the score was Ludwig Göransson, who does The Mandalorian and did the Book of
Oh,
Boba
okay.
Fett.
Him, I didn't recognize his name. I saw it, didn't
Yeah, I thought
recognize it.
that there's some interesting notes for the music, but I thought look, Pixar. I mean, I don't know. They just get it. They know how to do it.
That's a ball that Michael Eisner almost dropped with Steve,
Right.
because it was Steve Jobs'
Steve
company.
Jobs. That's right.
And Michael Eisner, I don't know what they were arguing over,
Yeah.
but Jobs was about to walk.
Hmm.
And thankfully, they had a guy that was really good at doing transactions, unlike the guy they have now that's not good at anything.
Bob Paycheck.
Yeah.
Rob Paycheck.
Rob Paycheck or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call him.
Right.
But
So
yeah,
so
Pixar is gold.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. The story's great. It's funny. The animation goes without saying, but it blows my mind all the time. The nuances, the details they get, some of the shots like looking in. There's one scene where the her grandmother comes into the story.
Mhm.
May May's or May Lynn, whatever you want to say. Her grandmother comes in and she's she's bending down to look in her face and like grab her cheeks.
Yeah.
And you can see from the POV of May Lynn in her glasses, like her
Mhm.
grandmother is seeing herself. It's
Yeah.
just those, it's mind blowing with the animation.
What they can do.
Now,
And
what did you think? You were always commenting on the world that they create in these animated films, the world building, and sometimes you've been critical of it, sometimes you've
yeah,
been praising it. What'd you think about the
well,
quote
this
unquote world that they created?
I liked because it was different. It wasn't a buddy film.
And it's set in like Toronto in like 2002.
Right. It was really, I mean, really interesting choices that I
Right.
think are probably personal to the director.
Well, they are, and one of the reasons I think for that was, May's got this obsession, as does her close friends,
Right.
with this boy band called Four Town, which is
Right.
hilarious.
Right.
One of the
5 of them.
Jesse, one of them is Phineas, Billie Eilish's brother. He's voicing
Oh, I didn't know
the
that.
character of Jesse. Yeah, but that was just so hilarious. They captured that early millennium boy
Yeah.
band
Yeah.
vibe,
It was a
perfectly.
really unique look too. They used some anime in it,
That's right.
which they haven't
That's right.
before. I think this is the first
Right. She was,
time.
yeah, there was, I think, 3 or 4 different films that she was inspired by. And it was
Yeah,
really cool. Now, you probably didn't see this and you always seem to miss this. There's almost an hour-long documentary
I did miss it.
on Disney Plus. Yeah.
See, I
So,
usually get that stuff when the DVDs come out. I
yeah.
wait and kind of watch it again, and
And it's all of the filmmakers, and it's basically an all-female production.
yeah,
It's basically all women. One of the cool things that they show is them on location at like the zoo
yeah,
and how they came, and they talk about how they came to decide on the red panda as the animal that they would
right.
feature, but yeah, it was so satisfying, so funny, it's heartfelt, it's got a really good message. But that's what Pixar does.
And I would think that, parents could sit down with their kids, especially girls, of that age, and
Mhm.
kind of watch that and have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And, it's not it's not all one thing. It's multiple things going on with this girl who's an straight A student. And then when she starts following the band,
Mhm.
her grades start to slip as she's having more fun. And,
Right, right.
you got to find a balance in
Yeah,
life.
and her
And
trying to discover and then ultimately embrace her own identity and
yeah,
the struggle that comes along with that. Now, what I was thinking about with the Will Smith thing is, first of all, just to play on the phrase turning red, right? But the whole idea of the struggle to manage your emotions, and made me think of that, and
yeah, that's a
it,
good point.
it,
Because if she had a freak out moment, poof, she would become a big giant
and
panda.
she could potentially be a threat to other people. I mean,
Yeah,
she terrorizes one of the kids at school at one point, basically. So,
right.
there was a subtle sort of connection there I drew
I
a
was
line
wondering
between
what
them.
I wasn't sure what you were talking about when you said that.
Yeah.
Now that makes sense.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think also like it's there's something in there about being okay with when you discover who you are and being okay with that, and if this makes any sense, I'm trying to make this point, but with men, stereotypically speaking, and gender stereotypes, we talked about toxic masculinity
Mhm.
and this kind of thing that a lot of young boys and young men grow up with, feeling like they've got to be a certain
Right.
way and this
Who
tough.
you looking at?
Right, everybody's fronting and posing and
Yeah.
posturing and
Right.
and the beauty and importance and value in being vulnerable as a man is a very difficult concept for a lot of men to embrace, but
Mhm.
so anyways, those were just some connections that I saw between the two
Yeah.
stories. But yeah, I
Sounds
loved it.
like we both like it.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Definitely a thumbs up. You know what's interesting though? It's got 94% rating from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes, only 73% from the audience.
I think if you look at
What
Bao, it's very similar.
well, what do you
I don't
attribute that
know if
to? I would
I
think it would
don't
be much
know.
higher.
I would too. I'm not
Yeah.
sure why that is, and
M
I didn't look at the
Metascore
IMDb. Did you?
83. Yeah,
Yeah.
83.
Yeah, that to me, that's about right. That's about
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The 73 I thought was a bit odd, but
Yeah, that's a little low.
all right, so now we gotta dive into
Our picks.
our Oscar recap, right? Actually talk about what we originally had planned with the Oscars, not,
Right.
an assault and battery on stage live in
So it
front of
turns
billions of
out,
people.
and we were focusing on the top 5. We made picks else.
Right,
It's funny because
and that's all we're
I
really gonna focus on with our
I
picks.
sent an Instagram to Johnny Durango to ask him just today. I asked him, who did you pick for
Eh
cinematography? I said couldn't have been Dune.
Oh,
And I thought I had picked Power of the Dog, which I didn't. I
mhm.
had picked Nightmare Alley, which was completely overlooked.
Right, it
Right? I
was.
mean, it
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
nothing.
What did he say?
And he said, 100% Nightmare Alley.
Okay, that's
And
good.
I said, and I wrote him back. It probably made me look like I was, posing or playing to him. I wrote back and said, I did pick Nightmare Alley. I forgot because it was in so few categories.
Mhm, mhm.
But I had so many picks to Power of the Dog, which
Alright,
was a shame.
so let's get into it.
That got
Let's back
got
up and
crushed.
let's go in order here. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about, original screenplay. Now, there was adapted screenplay and original screenplay,
Right. And we focused on
but our pick
original.
really focused on original screenplay. So, your pick was Licorice Pizza,
Uh-huh.
and then my pick was Belfast, the Kenneth Branagh movie, right?
Yep. One of us got it
And
right.
the winner
Goes to
was, of course,
Belfast.
Belfast with
That
Kenneth
was my
Branagh,
number
so
2 pick,
yeah, yeah.
but I really thought Licorice Pizza got nothing.
No.
Nothing. Goose egg for all
Yeah.
those nominations.
Alright, so then we move into Best Actress, right?
Yeah,
And your pick was Nicole Kidman
which was
for
phenomenal.
being the Ricardos. She was great. And then my pick was Jessica Chastain
Mhm.
for The Eyes of Tammy Faye Baker, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And
And
of
who
course, the
won?
winner was, of course,
Dan.
Jessica
Whoa.
Chastain
Right out of
for
the
The Eyes
bat,
of
you
Tammy
must have
Faye.
been like,
I'm like,
"Whoa.
I got this. Going to
I'm gonna
Vegas.
going
I'm
to
going to
5.
Vegas. That's
5 for
right.
5."
That's right. All right. So then we go to Best Actor, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right. So let's move into Best Actor. Now, this was interesting, right? Because you picked, we sort of both, I think, wanted Benedict Cumberbatch to win.
And we both feel like he was the best
Yeah.
performance.
But when we had to nail down our pick, you went with Will Smith for King Richard.
Mhm.
And then I went with Andrew Garfield for Tick Tick Boom. So we, in some
And
ways,
I've
sort of
seen
went out
that
on a
since.
limb.
I've seen the
Oh,
rest of
good.
that since.
What do you think,
It
real
was
quick?
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent
So
performance.
can you see
Oh,
my
yeah. Yeah.
nomination for that? Okay.
And I wouldn't have been shocked if he won.
Yeah.
But I was
Yeah.
sitting there going, "Power of the Dog. Power of the Dog.
I know. Me too.
Power of
Me
the
too.
Dog."
All right. So winner for those that, I mean, everybody's
Tuned in
prepared to
late.
see this. Yeah. Winner is. Wait a second. Wait a second.
Dave
No, wait a minute. This
Schultz.
is David Schultz. This is sorry, I don't know how this get in there. It's
That's
Dr. D. David
six-
Schultz
60 minutes, I
and
think.
John Stossel.
Yeah.
Uh,
John
sorry about.
Stossel.
Well, you know what's interesting? For those that maybe okay, I think I have to do this now.
You gonna show the clip?
Let's show the clip. Let's show the clip. Let's show the clip.
God, it seems like yesterday this
All right.
happened.
So, whoops, I gotta.
They were doing a bit.
We're learning how to
Yeah, while
navigate here,
you're
folks.
navigating, I'll explain what they were doing a bit
Okay.
on wrestling
Yeah.
and how it's phony and so forth. And this reporter, John Stossel, who is all over the
I
place.
met John Stossel. I got his.
Did you?
I got a book signed by him.
I
Yeah.
don't know where he is now, but I don't know. Maybe.
All right. So
So they were talking about how it was fake, and then Vince McMahon sent David Schultz to go
yeah.
talk to him.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. So we're gonna do.
Come on, I was talking for a
Okay.
good
Hold on.
minute there.
Here we go. Here we go. I'm trying to get the video
Oh,
up. Oh, well, I get
wow.
all kinds of. Wait a minute. This is
Yeah,
not
get
good.
that junk off.
Let's hold on now. Let's get this out of here.
All right. So,
All right,
anyways,
wait, hold on. No, hold on. So we got to make this happen here. I'm determined to make this happen
yeah,
now.
we
'Cause
must see this.
poison
spot.
their toys.
Yeah.
All right, now wait a second. So we're gonna. Oh, I see. Okay.
My out of control hair.
All right. So. All right, folks. If this doesn't work, we'll bag it.
Yeah, let's bag it.
Let's bag it.
No,
It's not
we went
working,
into
is
the-
it?
we're
Well,
into
wait.
the
You
millennium.
see it now?
Now I see the ring. Yeah.
Okay. So you see the video here,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
there's
There's David Schultz, and he's
Watch.
being
Oh,
confronted.
now this is
Oh,
the,
that
no,
was the
this is it right
close-up.
here. This is it right here. Oh,
Yeah, he just smacked him. And again, the funny thing is, when that happened, everybody was like, "Oh, is that a work? Is that
right. A work.
is that
Mike with the wrestling lingo. Is that a work? Assuming everybody knows that lingo.
No, that was a shoot."
All right. So of course
The winner.
we're having a little fun, but the winner actually was winner. Well, I
Yeah.
guess you could say that.
Good luck to him. I don't know what.
But I don't know that we can use the word winner here.
Honestly,
in
there's
this
two
case.
Will Smith films I like, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not counting this one. I
Right.
liked his performance, but this was not a film I was going to go out and buy on DVD.
Right.
But there's two films that I like: Enemy of the State,
Mm-hmm.
because it's Gene Hackman, and I love Gene Hackman,
Right.
and I, Robot, which was him. Those are the
Mhm.
only two, and I like sci-fi.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants those movies, feel free to send me a request, and I'll mail it to you.
All right. So again, we talked about this already. We had already said at the beginning of the show that he won Best Actor. He gave this long-winded speech, didn't apologize to Chris Rock for this nonsense and everything.
A lot of babbling.
Yeah. So and here's the thing. I'm sorry. This aside, he did not deserve the Oscar for Best Actor.
Correct.
He just did not. He did not.
You know what? When I was watching the 5 clips, I'm thinking, and again, I started to think about impersonation or acting.
Mm-hmm.
He did a great impersonation of Richard.
Yes.
Of Richard Williams. It was
Right.
great. It was more of an impersonation.
And
the other 4 just knocked it out of the park.
And it's difficult. I mean, you've brought up other examples of like Joaquin Phoenix, right? With Johnny Cash
versus Ray.
There are correct. And so there are performances where they pull it off, but I'm glad you saw Tick Tick Boom, because you could see how easily, if it wasn't going to be Benedict Cumberbatch, it absolutely should have been Andrew Garfield. And many of the people I saw commenting online felt the same way with that. But yeah, I did. And I said, I liked King Richard. I thought it was better than I expected, as was he in it, but it wasn't Best Actor.
It wasn't Best Actor.
No way.
And the thing is that was probably the easiest pick.
Right.
Even though you went against it, you probably knew in your heart it was going to be this.
No, I really didn't. I
No,
really was hoping that because I just knew that wouldn't be just.
I
I just didn't
really
think
hoped
I
Cumberbatch would have shamed.
I've thought he was overrated for many, many, many years. And again, I'm on record as saying that. Okay, we're moving on to director, right?
Yes,
All right. So we both pick
we both pick Power of the
Jane
Dog.
Campion for The Power of the Dog as best director. And lo and behold,
Our
only third woman to win this prize,
yes,
right? You had hold on now. You had uh Catherine Bigelow, who won for The Hurt Locker,
correct,
and then Chloe Zhao, who won for
correct.
Nomadland, and now we have Jane Campion to add to that list for The Power of the Dog. So this they got it right here. They got it
Yes,
right on this one.
this one was definitely the right
Definitely.
choice.
Okay, and now we're gonna move to the
So
final
Dan,
top
big
5.
three, got
Big
3.
3, I got 3. So now we go to Best Picture, right? And we both picked The Power of the Dog.
I didn't even think it was going to be
Hands
close.
down, Power of the Dog. Now, again, I made an argument in our previous Oscars show that Tick Tick Boom, you know, could have made a run for that.
Mm.
But anyways, we settled on Power of the Dog. We thought for sure that's a lock.
The
And
winner,
then much to
homophobia.
many no, not homophobia. But this is the thing. I like Coda. It was
I
a
did
very
too.
sweet film and the performance was good. I don't have anything negative to say about Coda, but it wasn't Best Picture.
I think when we did our picks, I said it wouldn't be in the top 5.
I just couldn't believe
I
it.
mean, it was a nice little, and we are part of the Coda family, really, because
Yeah.
we're children of a mother who is deaf,
Right. Right.
and so we could really relate
That
more
would have
than
been
most.
Coma, but it's Coda, but
Yeah,
sorry, that's a bad joke. And I'm happy for them. I mean, it's a wonderful story. Tony Kutsur, right? Who won Best Supporting Actor? Is that right,
right,
Tony?
right.
Right.
Which
So
that was
it
a shock
it's a
too.
great story. It's a wonderful story for that community, and
Mhm.
again, I don't have any. I'm just surprised because of I really felt like hands down, The Power of the Dog was the better
And
film.
you know, I talked about, like, I think Tony won supporting actor. I think it was split
Hmm.
because you had Jesse Plemons and
Yeah, yeah.
McPhee
Cody
and
Smith McPhee.
Cody
Yeah,
Smith McPhee, who hands down was the best performance.
right,
And I think because Jesse Plemons was good, I think he took some of the votes away from him.
right.
Um, but this, I'm trying to look to see.
Yeah, what are you reaching for something? All I hear
No,
is your chair creaking and
I
squeaking
was just trying
and
to
your
look.
phone going off. Folks,
Now that's not my
season
phone is
3,
off. Look it.
season 3, and he still doesn't get it,
My
folks.
phone is off,
But
but
it's on
because this
vibrate. It's on
yeah, well,
vibrate.
what am I supposed to put it
Well, that's
on?
not off. Your phone is still on, and anyways,
Ah,
okay.
shut
And
up.
now the whole world knows it's
Nobody
on. Go
even
ahead.
heard that.
They did. Go ahead.
But I'm looking to see if something could have split the vote,
Mhm.
and I just don't get it. I think Power of the
Just get
Dog
on with the
was so
gag.
easily.
Get on with
I
the
got no
gag.
gag.
Oh, I thought you were reaching for a gag of some kind.
No,
Oh.
I was looking at my notes.
Looked like a gag coming.
No. So,
Oh, man.
was that the 5? We
That was
done?
it. That's
Oh,
it.
okay. So,
Yep.
I got 2, you got 3, which, last year we both got 3.
Mhm.
Between the 2 of
Mhm.
us, we got 4, which is
Yeah,
pretty good,
that's pretty good.
for a couple of chuckleheads that don't know
Right.
anything about movies,
And
right?
I'm sorry, but Coda, I just thought was a lot. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I did want to say right, exactly. Okay, so for those that don't know, um, look, if you just tune in, we don't care if you like us, you don't like us. If
Just
you're
subscribe.
watching or you tune in, yeah. So to the individual who left us a review on iTunes saying that we're just a couple of idiots that don't know anything about movies, cheers, brother.
4 out of 5, my friend. Thanks for the
Exactly.
download.
That's right. Please like and subscribe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I felt pretty good with with where we ended up, but the Dakota one shocked me. I was
Yeah,
like, wow,
that
I
was
had
stunning. I
no
thought I thought we were gonna do the sweep,
Yeah, yeah,
and until that I think it shocked everyone. It won all 3 of its
yeah.
nominated spots. Nightmare Alley, nothing.
Yeah,
Guillermo
that was
Guillermo
shocking.
del Toro, who won everything
Mhm.
for a movie nobody saw.
It's such a good movie. It's such a good
Ah,
movie.
and
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's better than the original. I
Mhm.
really do. I mean, I went back
Yeah.
and watched the original and I was like, Tyrone Power is in
Yeah.
the original,
That's right. That's
and
right.
I thought he beat it, but
Now we just got an award too. We just, surpassed 6,500 downloads of the
yeah.
podcast, so that's something to celebrate, and, I was thinking we're getting close to our 100th episode, so what are we gonna do? Do we haven't mapped that out yet. We gotta do something special for the
I don't
100th.
know,
You think we can get,
giveaways?
Orlando and Andy on the show to celebrate the, 100th ep probably
That
not.
would be nice.
Yeah, they're tied up with filming, so that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's true. The
But
schedules are
we need to
tight.
come out I don't know if you guys have any suggestions or
Yeah.
recommendations of how we can celebrate our 100th episode, let us know other than, going off the air. Um,
You
some
idiots
people
don't know anything about
exactly, couple of idiots over here. So, well, look, it wasn't,
Well,
some good
a
news.
couple other notes though before you close the Oscar door.
Yeah,
We had a
yeah.
couple of other picks. I asked you to pick something that you would guarantee would win, and I picked something. I
And
don't know
did
if
I?
you ever did.
I don't think I did.
I picked we both picked Billie Eilish, but I don't think we talked about it on the
Yeah.
show. But
Oh,
we
right.
both picked her.
Yeah, song of the
But,
year or song of
my
right? Best song,
guaranteed
best original
pick
song
was Encanto,
for
and I
animated
won.
feature film.
Correct. So,
Yeah, 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 you got that.
really, we did pretty darn good
Yeah,
considering.
you don't need to make excuses. We did just
No, I'm just
fine,
saying
you
for
know? Here we
I
are
hope
defending, picks for something we don't even believe in,
yeah,
It's like we're
I know,
calling
go
for
to
an
that
end of the
blog,
award shows.
check out
I'm
that
telling you,
blog.
a celebration of filmmaking.
Mhm.
That's what this needs to become.
With
So if you're listening,
filmmakers.
Will Packer? Is he the producer of
I
this
don't know.
year's, Oscars?
I thought
I
it was
think that's
someone
right.
else.
I think
You
that's
might
right.
be right. But
Because
let's hear
he's the
from
one
the
he tweeted out
filmmakers.
he tweets out, "I told you it wasn't gonna be boring," or something like that.
Yeah, that
Then he
was
very quickly had to
yeah,
backpedal or
yeah.
try to at that point, but
I'd rather hear from people like Johnny Durango and people that, you know, are doing the really difficult stuff, setting the lightings, the moon, telling you why they're using this angle, why they're using this lens.
yeah.
Um, oh no, I was gonna say the extras for Nightmare Alley, the original.
Mhm.
They have the guy that did the photos. No, this was The Godfather. They have the guy, the 50th. That
Yes.
got overshadowed.
It did sure did.
Al and Bob came out and was
Right.
like,
Will Smith made him an offer they couldn't refuse to
yeah, it
yeah,
was like they're gone.
right.
But I'm watching the new 4K stuff.
Mhm.
Wow. And the photographer, there's some shots that you've never seen before, like Sonny
Mhm.
under the gurney.
Mhm.
Oh, look what they did to my boy,
Right,
the
right.
mask of
The
my
mask of my
you
boy.
see him all shot
Oh,
up,
okay, okay.
and he caught oh, man,
How is
some
this
great
relevant?
shots. Well, I'm just saying, it's a guy, he's gotta be like 80 or 90,
Yeah, yeah,
and he's
yeah.
got the original cameras he shot these with,
Mhm.
and they look like they've been sitting at the bottom, alongside the Titanic for a while.
Mm.
Great stuff, though.
And again, I missed all this. I
Yeah,
missed all this.
but
I
you should see it.
we got some, acoustic cinematic music to play us out here.
Play us out. I'm getting the
So
hook.
well, some good yeah, exactly.
And they didn't give that I
They
think
didn't give
Jane
Will Smith the
Campion
hook.
got the hook.
Yeah, they didn't
Jane
give it to Will
Campion
Smith.
did.
Right.
Yeah.
He gave the right hook to Chris Rock, but so some good news, some bad news with this episode. Good news, Turning Reds is just a fantastic Pixar film. Once again, they just the home runs they're hitting. And then the bad news, of course, with the whole, fiasco with Will Smith.
And
So
this gonna
I mean, we
change
would have been remiss if we didn't make some comment on it. We're not adding anything new to the commentary,
no.
but
But
it's just our
the
reaction to it.
Oscars and Will Smith forever changed.
Mhm,
Will
sure.
Smith, I will never look at him the same.
Yeah.
I will always see the guy that got up on stage and made a jerk out of
Well, it'll be
himself.
interesting to see the damage control and yeah, like where does his career now go? Because you mentioned Chris Rock is in Boston tonight. First show
He's 20
since
minutes
this.
from here,
Yeah, his
and
first show since the incident, and
the
the tickets are
tickets,
skyrocketing.
yeah, $40 ticket is now
Yeah, and
$800.
so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Will Smith's next movie at the box office.
I won't be there.
Interesting. Yeah. It's interesting too. His kid, and I know I'm saying interesting 90 times here, but his kid apparently
Yeah, defending
some
him.
somewhere was quoted as saying, and that's how we do it.
Yeah,
I mean, how disgusting is that?
good way to teach your kids there. Good lesson.
It's pretty bad. Yeah. If you want to see a better story as to how to, relationships between parents and kids, watch Turning Red, folks.
Yeah.
That'll do it for you. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Again, wishing the best to Bruce Willis as he
And
enters
also,
into
we
this.
didn't get a chance to comment on the Foo Fighters loss.
Oh yeah, Taylor Hawkins. Well, I did. It's on the Instagram feed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a
saw
commentary
your
on
post.
that. So yeah, you
But
can
we
check
didn't
it.
talk about it, and it's a big loss. And
Yeah, especially where they just had him film out Studio 666, and
yeah,
yeah, it's a real bummer. And he's a young guy and super talented, but the demons get a hold of you, and
yeah. It's a shame.
sometimes that's the way it plays out. But anyways, again, ending it on a more positive note. If you want to disconnect from the stress of the day and these kind of news stories, put on Turning Red, and you guys
Yeah.
will have an enjoyable
Click
time
off the
watching that film.
news.
Yeah, turn the news
That'll
off.
wait.
And Mike's actually saying turn on Disney Plus and
I
watch
know.
Turning Red. So there you go.
Got to be Chapek.
All right, it's gonna do it for another episode of the Oh Brother Podcast. It's been your host Dan Smith, alongside me as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.